The last transmission. The emergency lights bathed Station Meridian in red. Commander Hana stood before the massive observation window, watching distant stars flicker and die. Each dying light meant another world consumed by the Vryn swarm, another billion lives erased from existence. Behind her, the Coalition Council chamber buzzed with desperate voices. 47 species all facing the same fate. The greatest alliance the galaxy had ever known was falling apart in its final hours. "We have 72 hours, announced Ambassador Jiwan, her voice cutting through the chaos. The chamber fell silent. "Our scouts confirm the Vryn will reach this station in 3 days. After that, there is nowhere left to run." Hana turned from the window. She had fought the Vryn for 5 years, watched them consume everything in their path. They were not evil, they were hungry, and the galaxy was their feast. "Perhaps we should negotiate," suggested one of the council members, a tall being with silver skin. "Offer them tribute. Buy ourselves time." "Time for what?" Hana replied, her voice flat. "There is no reinforcements coming, no miracle weapon, no salvation. We have lost." The words hung in the air like poison. Nobody wanted to hear the truth, but everyone knew it. The Coalition's fleets were shattered. Their worlds burned. Their hope died weeks ago. Dr. Minho entered the chamber carrying a datapad. His hands shook slightly. Hana had known him for years and had never seen him nervous. That alone told her something was wrong. "Council members," Minho said quietly, "I have information. Classified information. About a species that could help us." "What species?" Ambassador Jiwan asked. "Every capable military force in the galaxy is already here. Fighting. Dying." Minho tapped his datapad. A hologram appeared above the council table. Earth. Blue and green and beautiful. Hana felt her stomach drop. "No," she whispered. "Yes," Minho replied. "Humanity," the chamber erupted. Voices shouted over each other. Some in anger, some in fear, all in disbelief. "They are quarantined," someone screamed. "Locked away for good reason." "They are monsters," another voice added. "We voted to isolate them 300 years ago." Hana remembered the vote. She had been young then, but she remembered. The galaxy had united for the first time in history, not to fight an enemy, but to cage humanity. The Red Wars had terrified every species in known space. "Tell them," G1 said to Minho. "Tell them what humanity did." Minho nodded. During the Red Wars, humanity fought against the Krell Empire. The Krell were slavers, conquerors. They attacked human colonies, killed millions. Humanity responded with total war. Images appeared in the hologram. Battles in space, planets burning, human soldiers fighting with a ferocity that made Hana's blood run cold even now. Humanity destroyed the Krell Empire completely. Minho continued. Every military installation, every war fleet, every government building. But they stopped there. They did not harm civilians. They did not enslave. They simply removed the threat entirely. And we were terrified, Jiwan added softly, because humanity won against an empire that had crushed 6 other species. They won in 11 months. They made it look easy. Captain Daihyun spoke from the back of the chamber, so we locked them away, called them dangerous, made them promise to stay isolated. And they agreed. 300 years of silence, because we asked them to, Hana said. They went quietly because the galaxy was afraid. They chose exile over war, which proves they are reasonable, Minho argued. They could have fought us, could have refused. But they respected our fear, or they were waiting, someone muttered. Waiting for us to show weakness. Jiwan slammed her hand on the table. Does it matter? We are dying. In 3 days, the Vryn will reach this station. In 3 weeks, the last coalition world will fall. We have nothing left to lose. Except our principles, an elder council member said. Humanity is classified as a Class X Death World species. They are predators, aggressive, unpredictable. So are the Vryn, Hana pointed out. But the Vryn want to eat us. Humanity might actually help. The debate raged for 2 hours. Arguments flew back and forth. Fear battled desperation. Pride wrestled with survival instinct. Finally, Jiwan called for a vote. All in favor of sending a distress call to humanity. Signal with your council light. Hana held her breath. Lights began to glow around the chamber. Green for yes, red for no. She watched the count climb. 22 green, 23 red, 24 green. 24 red. It came down to the final vote. The Venari ambassador, an ancient being who rarely spoke. Everyone waited. The light turned green. The measure passes, Jiwon announced. Captain Daehyun, prepare your ship. Dr. Minho, encode the message. Commander Hana, you will write it. Me? Hana asked. You are human, Jiwon replied. Or close enough. Your great-grandmother was from Earth. You understand them better than any of us. Make them listen. 3 hours later, Hana sat in front of a recording device. Captain Daehyun waited in his ship, ready to carry the message through the quantum barrier that surrounded human space. She took a deep breath and began. To humanity, you do not know me, but you know my blood. My name is Commander Hana. My great-grandmother left Earth before the quarantine. I carry her DNA. I carry her memories through the stories passed down. I carry her hope that one day the galaxy and humanity would meet again as friends. She paused, gathering her thoughts. 300 years ago, we made a mistake. We saw your strength and called it violence. We saw your determination and called it aggression. We saw you win a war and called you monsters. We were wrong. We were cowards. And now we are dying. Hana felt tears on her face but did not wipe them away. The Vryn swarm has consumed half the galaxy. Billions are dead. Millions die every day. We fought them with everything we had. It was not enough. In 72 hours, they will reach our last stronghold. After that, extinction. She looked directly into the camera. We have no right to ask you for help. We abandoned you, locked you away, treated you like criminals for defending yourselves. But we are asking anyway, not because we deserve mercy, but because we hope you are better than we were. We hope that humanity, despite everything we did, will choose to save us. Hana's voice broke slightly. If you refuse, we understand. If you ignore this message, we accept our fate. But if some part of you still believes in helping those who cannot help themselves, we beg you, please, help us, forgive us, save us. She ended the recording. Captain Daehyun took it and launched into space. Hana watched his ship disappear into quantum drive, heading toward Earth. What do you think they will do? Jiwon asked, standing beside her. Hana thought about the stories her great-grandmother told. About humans helping strangers. About sacrifice for those they never met. About fighting for others simply because it was right. I think, Hana said slowly, we are about to find out if humanity is really the monster we claimed, or if we were the monsters all along. The message traveled through the void, across the quantum barrier, past 300 years of silence, and somewhere in the darkness Earth received it. The sleeping giant stirs. The message arrived at Earth's orbital defense platform at 0347 hours. Admiral Heejin was drinking coffee when the alert sounded. She set down her cup and pulled up the transmission. Commander Hana's face appeared on screen. By the time the message ended, Heejin had called an emergency meeting. Every military leader, every colonial governor, President Yoonji herself, they gathered in the war room beneath Geneva. The same room where humanity had agreed to the quarantine 3 centuries ago. The irony was not lost on anyone. Play it again, President Yoonji ordered. They watched Hana's message 3 times. Nobody spoke. Finally, Yoonji turned to the room. Opinions? It is a trap, said General Taemin. The galaxy locked us away. Now they want us to save them? No. Let them burn. Agreed, added Governor Soman from the Mars colony. 300 years they left us alone. 300 years we thrived without them. Why should we care if they die? Admiral Heejin stood. Because we are not them. We are better than they were. Are we? Colonel Seok asked. He was famous for leading impossible missions, surviving battles that should have killed him. They called us monsters. Maybe they were right. They were wrong. Heejin replied firmly. We fought the Krell because they were slavers. Because they killed our people. We ended the war quickly and efficiently. That does not make us monsters. That makes us effective. President Yoonji raised her hand for silence. Admiral, you have been monitoring the galaxy. Tell us what you know about this Vryn swarm. Heejin activated a hologram. It showed the galaxy with red spreading across it like infection. The Vryn are a hive-mind species. They consume biological matter to reproduce. Planets, populations, everything. They started in the Outer Rim 5 years ago. Since then, they have destroyed approximately 42,000 worlds. Death toll estimates reach into the trillions. The room went quiet. They are heading toward the galactic core, Heejin continued. If they are not stopped, they will consume everything. including eventually Earth. How long until they reach us? Yunji asked. 20 years, maybe 30. The quarantine barrier will slow them briefly, but it will not stop them. Engineer Yuna spoke up. She had designed Earth's newest warships, vessels that made old coalition cruisers look like toys. So we fight now, with allies, or we fight later, alone. Exactly, Hyejin confirmed. Colonel Seok laughed bitterly. Some choice. Help the people who imprisoned us or die. There is more, Hyejin said. She pulled up another image. I have been running surveillance for 30 years. The coalition military is not what it was. They have grown soft, diplomatic, their weapons are outdated. Their tactics are defensive. They have forgotten how to fight a real war. And we have not, President Yunji said quietly. No, Madam President, we have not, it was true. 300 years of isolation had not made humanity weak. It made them focused. They built better ships, developed better weapons, created better soldiers, because they never forgot that the galaxy had feared them once, and might fear them again. Show them our fleet, Yunji ordered. Hyejin brought up the numbers. 1,200 warships, ranging from small destroyers to massive dreadnoughts. Every ship armed with weapons the coalition had never imagined. Quantum torpedoes, Neuralink targeting systems, hull armor that could withstand a star's heat. This is the result of our isolation, Hyejin explained. While the coalition focused on peace, we focused on preparation. We knew someday someone might come for us. We were ready. We are still ready, Yuna added. I can have the fleet mobilized in 18 hours. President Yunji walked to the observation window. Beyond it, Earth turned slowly. Blue and green and beautiful, home to 40 billion people, the center of an empire that spanned 200 colony worlds. If we do this, she said slowly, there is no going back. The galaxy will see what we have become. They will fear us again. Good, Colonel Seok said. Let them fear us. Fear kept us alive. No, Hyejin countered. Hope kept us alive. Hope that one day we would be accepted, that we could prove we were more than what they thought. And now they give us that chance, Yunji said. By begging for help. The president turned to face the room. Her eyes were hard. I have read the history. I know what the coalition did to us. The quarantine was not just isolation. It was punishment. They blamed us for being good at war, for winning when others lost, for surviving when others died. She walked to the hologram, placed her hand in the red zone showing the Vrin. But I also know who we are. Humanity does not abandon people to die, even people who wronged us, especially people who wronged us, because that is how we prove we are better. Madam President, General Taman said carefully, what are you saying? Yunji smiled. It was not a kind smile. I am saying we answer the call. We send the fleet. We save them. And then? Salman asked. And then we make them understand something. They called us monsters for fighting to survive. We will show them what monsters do when someone they care about is in danger. We protect them. The room was silent for a moment. Then Colonel Seok started laughing. Others joined in. Not from humor, but from the pure audacity of it. Operation Reckoning, Hyejin said. That is what we called the battle plan. Just in case we ever needed to deploy our full military strength. Perfect name, Yunji agreed. Execute it. Full deployment. I want every available warship ready. I want our best soldiers, our best pilots, our best commanders. We do this right. Time to arrival at Coalition space, Yuna asked. 8 days at maximum quantum drive, Hyejin replied. They have 3 days before the Vrin arrive, Yunji noted. We will not make it in time for the first wave. No, Hyejin agreed. But we will make it in time to ensure there is not a second wave. Orders went out across human space. From Earth to the farthest colonies, the fleet mobilized. Soldiers reported for duty. Engineers worked around the clock loading weapons, checking systems, preparing for war. 8 hours later, Admiral Hyejin stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Indomitable. Around her, 1,199 other ships formed up in perfect formation, the largest military force humanity had ever assembled. President Yunji's face appeared on every ship's main screen. She looked tired but determined. People of Earth, soldiers of humanity, today we embark on a mission that will define us for generations. The galaxy that once locked us away now begs for our help. Some say we should refuse, that we owe them nothing. They are right. We owe them nothing, she paused. But we do this anyway, not for them, for us. Because humanity does not let people die when we can save them. Because we are better than our worst moments. Because 300 years ago they saw our strength and called it violence. Today we show them that strength and compassion are not opposites. Yunji's eyes seemed to look into every soul watching. They wanted the most dangerous species in the galaxy. They are getting it, but they are also getting the most merciful, the most determined, the most human. Go now, save them, show them who we really are, and come home victorious. The transmission ended. Admiral Heejin turned to her crew. Set course for Coalition space, maximum speed, and send a message ahead. Tell Commander Hana that help is coming. Tell her humanity remembers how to keep promises. The fleet jumped to quantum drive. 1,200 ships disappearing into the void, racing toward a battle that would decide the fate of the galaxy. On Earth, President Yunji stood alone in the war room. She looked at the hologram of the advancing Vryn swarm, looked at the red spreading across the galaxy like blood. We were called monsters once, she whispered to the empty room. Let us show them what monsters do when they decide to care. The die was cast. Humanity was coming, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Battle of Meridian's Edge. The first wave of Vryn bioships hit the human fleet like a living tsunami. Thousands of creatures, each one designed to tear through hull metal and consume the organic matter inside. They moved with purpose, directed by the Queen Mind somewhere deep within the swarm. Admiral Heejin stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching tactical displays light up with contacts. So many contacts that the screens turned almost solid red. All batteries open fire, she ordered calmly. The human fleet erupted in light. Quantum torpedoes streaked through space, each one phasing through Vryn shields and detonating inside the bioships. Railguns fired streams of metal at relativistic speeds, punching holes through armor that had withstood coalition weapons for years. Nuclear mines deployed in clouds, creating kill zones that vaporized everything that entered. The Vryn kept coming. They are not stopping, reported Tactical Officer Jinwoo. Losses do not slow them. They just keep attacking. Good, Heejin replied. That means they are predictable. Lieutenant Kyungmin, execute pattern Delta. The human ships shifted formation. Instead of holding position, they moved forward, pushing into the swarm. Weapons firing constantly, shields absorbing hits that would have destroyed coalition vessels. On the flanks, coalition ships followed the human lead. They had trained for 16 hours learning human tactics. Learning to be aggressive instead of defensive. It went against every instinct, but they trusted the humans knew what they were doing. Captain Daehyun piloted his fighter through the chaos. Around him, 500 other human pilots flew in perfect coordination. They had volunteered for the most dangerous mission. Get through the swarm, reach the mothership, kill the queen. All wings, stay tight, Daehyun called over the comm. Pick your targets. Make every shot count. A Vryn bioship twice the size of his fighter swooped toward him. Daehyun rolled, fired his weapons, and watched the creature explode. Another appeared immediately. He dodged, fired again, kill after kill. The swarm seemed endless. This is insane, one of the other pilots said over the comm. There are too many. Then we fight harder, Daehyun replied. He had been flying for 30 years, had survived battles that killed most of his squadron. He was not dying today, not when people needed him. On Station Meridian, Commander Hana coordinated the defense. The station's weapons added fire to the battle, creating overlapping fields that protected the capital ships. She watched the tactical display, saw human ships taking damage, saw some destroyed. Each destroyed ship meant hundreds of dead. Humans who had come to save people they had never met, who gave their lives for a galaxy that had imprisoned them. Why do they fight so hard? Ambassador Jiwon asked, standing beside her. What drives them? Hana thought about it. Remembered the stories her great-grandmother told about humans who ran into burning buildings to save strangers, who jumped on grenades to protect their friends, who gave everything for people they loved. They fight because someone has to, Hana said quietly, and because they believe every life matters, even lives that wronged them. Deep in the swarm, Colonel Seok led a boarding operation that defied sanity. His Marines used specialized assault pods to ram into Vryn bioships, breach their hulls, and fight the creatures inside. Close quarters combat in zero gravity against monsters designed to kill. It was brutal, savage, the kind of fighting that separated humans from most other species. Clear left, Seok shouted, firing his weapon into a Vryn that tried to flank them. The creature died and 3 more appeared. His Marines engaged immediately, using tactics perfected over 300 years of constant training. They fought through the bioship, planting explosives as they went. When they reached the center, Sayok activated the charges and his team evacuated. The bioship exploded behind them, one less threat to the fleet. "How many is that?" asked Sergeant Yuri, floating beside him in her armor. 12, Sayok replied. 50 more to go. 50? Sir, we have enough explosives for maybe 20 more runs. Then we make each one count. Move out! They found another bioship and repeated the process. It never got easier. The Vren were fast, strong, and did not fear death. But neither did Sayok's Marines. They had been trained by the best. They were the best, and they would win no matter the cost. Back on the Indomitable, Dr. Minho worked frantically at his station. He had been analyzing the swarm's behavior, looking for patterns. "Looking for the mothership, I found it," he announced suddenly. "The Queen Mind. It is moving through the center of the swarm, protected by layers of bioships." Admiral Hyejin studied the data. The mothership was enormous, 10 times larger than the Indomitable, surrounded by thousands of defenders. Reaching it would require getting through a kill zone that nothing had survived. "How many ships would we need?" she asked. Kyungmin ran the calculations. "All of them. Every human vessel, firing constantly, pushing through the swarm. Even then, odds of success are less than 30%. And if we do not try?" Hyejin asked. "The swarm continues to coordinate perfectly. We kill thousands of bioships, but the Queen just sends more. Eventually we run out of ammunition. Or ships. Or both." Hyejin looked at the tactical display, saw coalition ships fighting bravely, saw human vessels taking damage to protect them, saw Captain Daehyun and his pilots pushing deeper into the swarm. She made her decision. "All ships, this is Admiral Hyejin. We have located the Queen Mind. We are going to kill it. This will require a full fleet assault through the center of the swarm. Many will not survive. I am asking for volunteers." Every ship in the fleet responded immediately. Human and coalition, all of them willing to follow her into certain death. "Admiral," Commander Hana's voice came over the comm from Station Meridian. "The coalition fleet will create a corridor. We will sacrifice our ships to give your forces a path to the mothership. Commander, that is a death sentence for your vessels." "We know," Hana replied, "but you came here to save us. The least we can do is help you finish the job. Besides, some of us want to prove we are not cowards anymore." Hyejin felt her throat tighten. "Acknowledged, Commander. And thank you." The battle plan formed quickly. Coalition ships would push forward, drawing Vrin fire, absorbing damage, creating a corridor of sacrifice through the swarm. Human ships would follow, pushing through to the mothership. Captain Daehyun and his pilots would lead the final strike. "All coalition vessels, this is Commander Hana. For 5 years we have fought defensively. We have retreated. We have lost. Today we attack. Today we show the galaxy what we are capable of when we stop being afraid. Follow me." Her ship, a coalition cruiser named Hope's End, accelerated toward the swarm. Behind her, 200 coalition vessels followed. They did not fire at the Vrin. They used their ships as shields, absorbing hits meant for the human fleet. Ships died. Explosions lit up space. But the corridor held. "Now," Hyejin ordered. "All human vessels, full speed. Get to that mothership." The Indomitable and the entire human fleet surged forward through the corridor, weapons firing constantly, shields taking hit after hit. Ships exploded around them, but the fleet kept moving. Captain Daehyun saw the mothership ahead. Massive, organic, beautiful in a terrible way, the source of all this death. "Last flight squadron, this is Captain Daehyun. We are going in. Arm your warheads. Set for maximum yield, and prepare for impact." "Copy that, Captain," came 500 responses. They flew toward the mothership. Vrin defenders tried to stop them. Dozens of fighters died, then hundreds, but the rest kept coming. Nothing would stop them. Daehyun thought about his family on Earth, about the children who would grow up because of what he was about to do, about Commander Hana and her message asking for help, about humanity's promise to always protect those who could not protect themselves. "Tell Earth," he said over the open comm. "We remembered who we are." The last flight squadron hit the mothership at full speed. 500 warheads detonating simultaneously. The explosion was visible from Station Meridian. Brighter than a star, more powerful than a supernova. The mothership died, and with it the Queen Mind. Across the swarm, Vrin bioships suddenly lost coordination. They stopped moving as a unit, started attacking each other. The hive mind was broken. All ships press the attack. Hyejin ordered. Do not let them regroup. The battle became a slaughter. The Vryn could not organize, could not coordinate. They were just animals now, scared and confused. The human fleet and coalition forces tore through them methodically. 3 hours later it was over. The swarm was destroyed. Millions of Vryn bioships drifted through space, dead or dying. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Hyejin looked at the casualty reports. 40% of the human fleet destroyed. 80% of coalition vessels gone. 200,000 dead, including Captain Daehyun and every pilot in the last flight squadron. It is over, Kyung-min said quietly. No, Hyejin replied. Now comes the hard part. Now we remember them. The aftermath and a new dawn 2 weeks after the Battle of Meridian's Edge. The galaxy gathered to mourn. Station Meridian's main hall had been converted into a memorial chamber. Names covered every wall. Human and coalition, soldiers and civilians, everyone who died in the battle. Commander Hana stood before the wall showing the last flight squadron. 500 names. 500 pilots who flew into certain death to save people they had never met. Captain Daehyun, she whispered, touching his name. I am sorry we needed you. I am sorry you had to die. But thank you for remembering us when we had forgotten ourselves. Admiral Hyejin appeared beside her. The admiral looked tired. She had spent 2 weeks coordinating rescue operations, helping survivors, and writing letters to families of the dead. How many letters have you written? Anna asked. 3,000 so far, Hyejin replied. Every human who died under my command. Their families deserve to know they mattered. That their sacrifice changed everything. It did change everything, Ambassador Jiwon said, joining them. The Coalition Council has been meeting constantly. The galaxy is in shock. Humanity saved us. After everything we did, you saved us. What happens now? Hana asked. Jiwon smiled sadly. Now we try to be worthy of what you gave us. The memorial service began an hour later. Every species in the coalition attended. Thousands gathered in the hall. Millions more watched from across the galaxy. Dr. Minho spoke first. He told stories of the battle, of human ships protecting coalition vessels, of Marines like Colonel Siak fighting impossible odds, of pilots like Captain Daehyun choosing sacrifice over survival. We called humanity dangerous, Minho said, his voice echoing through the hall. We were right. They are dangerous. Dangerous to tyrants, dangerous to predators, dangerous to anyone who believes might makes right. But they are not dangerous to those who need protection, to those who cannot fight for themselves, to those humanity is the greatest ally in the galaxy. Then Commander Hana spoke. She had written her speech carefully, choosing every word. 300 years ago, my people made a terrible mistake. We saw humanity at war and assumed they loved violence. We saw them win and assumed they loved conquest. We saw their strength and assumed they had no mercy. She looked at the names on the walls. We were wrong. Humanity fights because someone has to. They win because they refuse to lose when lives are at stake. They are strong because they choose to protect the weak, and they have more mercy than we ever deserved. Her voice broke slightly. I sent the distress call not knowing if humanity would answer, not knowing if they had forgiven us. Captain Daehyun answered. Admiral Hyejin answered. 200,000 humans answered. They came to save us. They died to save us. And in doing so, they taught us what we had forgotten, that strength without compassion is cruelty, but compassion without strength is helpless. Humanity has both. That is what makes them dangerous. That is what makes them heroes. The hall was silent. Then slowly, beings from 47 species began to stand, applauding, not for victory but for sacrifice, for courage, for humanity proving they were better than the galaxy that had imprisoned them. Admiral Hyejin was the last to speak. She walked to the podium slowly, still carrying the weight of command. I did not want to come here, she admitted. When the distress call arrived, my first thought was to ignore it, to let the galaxy that locked us away face its fate alone. That would have been fair. That would have been justice, she paused. But humanity does not care about fair. We care about right, and it was not right to let billions die, because their leaders made a mistake 3 centuries ago. So we came, we fought, and we won. Hyejin's eyes hardened. But let me be clear. This does not mean the past is forgotten. The quarantine was wrong. The fear of humanity was wrong. The belief that defending yourself makes you a monster was wrong. We will not let the galaxy forget that. Not because we want revenge, but because the lesson matters. She gestured to the names on the walls. These humans died, proving that the most dangerous species in the galaxy is also the most compassionate. The most violent is also the most protective. The most feared is also the most needed. Remember that. When you look at humanity and feel afraid, remember who came when you called for help. Remember who gave everything to save you. The hall erupted in applause again, but Hyejin raised her hand for silence. There is more to discuss. The Vryn are not gone. We destroyed one swarm, but there are others in the galaxy. This war is not over. So the question becomes, what do we do now? President Yunji's hologram appeared beside Hyejin. She was speaking from Earth, addressing the entire galaxy for the first time in 300 years. The Coalition has formally requested that humanity join them as full members, not as quarantined outcasts, not as dangerous species to be monitored, but as equals, as partners, as family. Yunji looked at the gathered crowd. We accept, but on certain conditions. First, the quarantine ends completely. Earth and all human colonies are free to interact with the galaxy. Second, humanity will have full voice in Coalition decisions. No more voting to lock away species you fear. Third, we work together to face the Vryn threat. Combined military, combined research, combined future. And if we refuse these conditions? Someone asked from the crowd. Yunji smiled. Then we leave. Return to our isolation. And when the Vryn come for you again, you face them alone. We save those who want to be saved. We partner with those who treat us as equals. We do not beg for acceptance anymore. We demand respect, the Coalition Council conferred briefly. Then Ambassador Juwan stepped forward. We accept all conditions. Humanity is now a full member of the Galactic Coalition. Welcome home, the crowd cheered. But Hana noticed that Hyejin did not look happy. She looked thoughtful. What is wrong? Hana asked later when they were alone. I am thinking about the future, Hyejin replied. The galaxy saw what humanity can do in battle. They saw our weapons, our tactics, our willingness to sacrifice. Now they will want us to fight every war, solve every problem, be their protectors. Is that not what you wanted? Hana asked. To be accepted? I wanted to be understood, Hyejin corrected. There is a difference. Acceptance means they see who we are, flaws and all, and choose to stand with us. Being used means they see our strength and decide to exploit it. She looked at the memorial wall. Captain Daehyun and the others did not die so humanity could become the galaxy's military. They died so the galaxy could learn to fight for itself. With our help, yes, but not as our burden alone. Then we teach them, Hana said firmly. We show the Coalition what humanity knows. How to fight, how to survive, how to refuse surrender even when hope seems gone. We make them strong enough to protect themselves. Hyejin smiled. You sound like a human, Commander. Maybe that is what the galaxy needs right now. More people who think like humans, who refuse to give up, who fight for others even when it costs them everything. Over the next months, humanity integrated fully into the Coalition. Human engineers helped rebuild destroyed worlds. Human soldiers trained Coalition forces in combat tactics. Human scientists shared technology that had developed during 3 centuries of isolation. Specialist Bora became head of the new Joint Military Academy. She trained soldiers from every species, teaching them not just how to fight, but why to fight, how to maintain compassion even in war, how to protect without dominating. Colonel Siok led combined military operations against remaining Vryn swarms. His Marines, now joined by soldiers from 47 other species, cleared systems one by one. The Vryn were not defeated completely, but they were contained, pushed back. No longer an existential threat, Dr. Minho established research centers that combined Coalition scientific knowledge with human innovation. They developed weapons more efficient than anything either side had created alone, but also medicine, agriculture, and technology that improved life for billions. Admiral Hyejin retired from active military service and became humanity's representative to the Coalition Council. She fought constantly for fair treatment of all species, for understanding instead of fear, for judging people by their actions, not their reputations. Commander Hana remained on Station Meridian, now rebuilt and renamed Daehyun Station, in honor of the captain who gave his life there. She worked with human liaisons to ensure the Coalition never forgot the lessons of the battle. That strength requires compassion. That violence without purpose is cruelty. That the most dangerous species can also be the most trustworthy. 5 years after the Battle of Meridian's Edge, Earth hosted the first Galactic Unity Festival. Billions attended from every species in the Coalition. They came to celebrate not just victory over the Vryn, but the new relationship between humanity and the galaxy. President Yunji, now retired but still respected, gave the opening speech. 5 years ago, we were enemies reunited by necessity. Today we are family united by choice. The road was hard. The cost was high. But we learned something important. That fear divides us, trust unites us, and understanding makes us stronger than we ever imagined. She gestured to the crowd where humans mingled freely with beings from across the galaxy. Look around you. See what we built together. Not just ships and weapons, but friendship. Not just alliances, but family. This is humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not our weapons, but our belief that every life matters. First contact. Redux Commander Hana stood on the observation deck of Station Meridian watching the stars. 18 hours remained before the Vryn arrived. 18 hours until extinction. The distress call had been sent 6 days ago. No response. No hope, Commander? A voice crackled over her communicator. You need to see this. She rushed to the command center. The room was chaos. Alarms blaring. Sensors going wild. Every screen showed the same thing. Quantum drive signatures. Hundreds of them. Coming in fast. Is it the Vryn? Ambassador G1 asked, her voice shaking. Are they early? Dr. Minho was working frantically at his console. No, the signatures are wrong. Too organized. Too controlled. These are not biological ships. Then who? Someone demanded. The signatures resolved into solid contacts. Ships dropping out of quantum drive in perfect formation. 1,200 vessels arranged in a pattern that spoke of military precision and overwhelming force. The lead ship was enormous. Larger than any coalition vessel by a factor of 3. Its hull was dark, covered in weapons that made the station's defenses look like children's toys. A message came through. Audio only, a woman's voice, calm and professional. Coalition Station Meridian, this is Admiral Hyagen of the Terran Defense Fleet, flagship Indomitable. We received your distress call. We are here to help. Request permission to dock and coordinate defense. The command center went silent. Everyone stared at the screens. At the fleet that had appeared like ghosts from humanity's isolation. Hana found her voice first. Permission granted, Admiral. Welcome to Meridian. 2 hours later, Hana stood in the docking bay as Admiral Hyagen stepped off her transport. The Admiral was tall, wearing a uniform that was both practical and intimidating. Behind her came a dozen officers, each moving with military efficiency. Hyagen looked at Hana and saluted. A human gesture, one that the Coalition had not seen in 300 years. Commander Hana, thank you for the message, and for the honesty. Hana returned the salute awkwardly. Admiral, I must apologize for what my people did to yours. The quarantine was wrong. We were afraid. I know, Hyagen replied. I read the history. I understand fear. But we did not come for apologies. We came because people are dying and we can stop it. They walked through the station together. Hana could not help but notice how every Coalition member stopped and stared. Some in fear, some in awe, all in disbelief. In the command center, Hyagen met with the Coalition Council. She wasted no time. Show me your defense plans. They did. Hyagen studied them for exactly 3 minutes before shaking her head. This will not work. You are planning to defend, to hold position and hope the Vryn get tired. They will not get tired. They will consume this station and everyone on it. What do you suggest? Ambassador G1 asked. We attack, Hyagen said simply. We do not wait for them to reach us. We meet them halfway. We hit them hard, fast, and we do not stop hitting until they are dead or running. That is suicide, someone protested. They outnumber us 500 to 1. Numbers do not win battles, Hyagen replied. Violence of action wins battles. Surprise, aggression, the willingness to do whatever it takes. She activated a hologram showing the human fleet. We brought weapons your people have never seen. Quantum torpedoes that ignore shields. Neural link targeting that can track 1,000 targets simultaneously. Hull armor designed to survive a supernova blast. And ships built for one purpose. War. Fleet Coordinator Kyungman stepped forward. He was younger than Hyagen but moved with the same confidence. We have analyzed Vryn battle patterns from your data, he explained. They rely on overwhelming numbers and biological advantages. They swarm and consume, but they have never faced an enemy that fights back with equal aggression. He pulled up tactical displays. The Vryn have a command structure, a queen mind that coordinates the swarm from a central mothership. Kill the queen and the swarm becomes disorganized, vulnerable. We have known this for years, Dr. Minho said. But the mothership is protected by hundreds of thousands of bioships. Nothing can reach it. Your ships cannot reach it, Kyungmin corrected. Ours can. Because we are willing to pay the price. Specialist Bora entered the command center. She was a combat medic, but Hana learned quickly that she was also a cultural liaison. Someone who understood both human and coalition thinking. We need to integrate our forces, Bora explained. Train your crews in human tactics. Install our weapons on your ships. Create a unified command structure. How long will that take? Jiwon asked. We have 16 hours, Bora replied. So it will take 16 hours. We do not have time for perfection. We need good enough. The station erupted into activity. Human engineers swarmed coalition ships, installing new weapons, upgrading systems, teaching crews how to use them. Human soldiers trained coalition troops in close combat, showing them techniques designed for fighting in zero gravity against biological enemies. Hana watched it all with amazement. The humans worked with an intensity she had never seen. They did not rest, did not complain. They simply worked, driven by something she could not quite understand. You are wondering why we are here, Hyejin said, appearing beside her. I am wondering why you are trying so hard, Hana admitted. We locked you away, treated you like criminals. You owe us nothing. Hyejin looked out at the docked ships, at the humans and coalition members working side by side. My grandmother told me a story once, about a human soldier in an ancient war. He was asked why he fought for people who did not appreciate him. He said, I do not fight because they appreciate me. I fight because someone has to and I can. She turned to Hana. That is why we are here. Not because you deserve it, not because you appreciate it, but because someone has to fight the Vrin and we can. That is what humanity does. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Even when they wronged you? Hana asked quietly. Especially then, Hyejin replied, because that is how we prove we are better than our worst moments. Hours passed. The human fleet and coalition forces merged into a single fighting force. Kyungmin worked with coalition tacticians, creating a battle plan that combined human aggression with coalition coordination. With 2 hours left, long-range sensors detected the Vrin swarm. 500,000 bioships, each the size of a frigate. They moved through space like a living cloud, consuming everything in their path. The command center fell silent as they watched the swarm approach. It was enormous, terrifying, unstoppable. Admiral Hyejin addressed the combined fleet. Her voice was broadcast to every ship, human and coalition alike. This is Admiral Hyejin to all vessels. In 2 hours, we will face the largest Vrin swarm ever recorded. They outnumber us. They have consumed worlds. They believe they are unstoppable. She paused. They are wrong. Today they face humanity, and humanity does not lose when there are people to protect. We do not retreat when there are lives to save. We fight and we win, not because victory is certain, but because surrender is not an option. Her voice hardened. To the coalition forces, you have fought bravely for 5 years. You have lost much, but you have not lost hope. Today, fight alongside humanity. Learn what we learned long ago. That strength is not about never falling. It is about always getting back up. To my fellow humans, 300 years ago the galaxy locked us away. Today we show them why that was a mistake. Not through vengeance. Through mercy. Through protection. Through being exactly who we have always been. The species that fights for others even when others do not fight for us. Hana felt tears in her eyes. Around the command center, coalition members stood straighter, looked at the approaching swarm with new determination. All ships, battle stations, Hyejin ordered. Prepare for combat. And remember, when this is over, the galaxy will know what humanity truly is. Not monsters, not killers, protectors, heroes, family. The fleet moved into formation. Human dreadnoughts at the center. Coalition cruisers on the flanks. Fighter wings ready to launch. Weapons armed. Shields raised. The Vrin swarm came closer. Closer. The sensors could now show individual bioships, each one hungry and mindless and deadly. Hana stood beside Hyejin on the Indomitable's bridge. The Admiral looked calm. Ready? Any last words? Hana asked. Hyejin smiled. Yes. The same words humanity has said for thousands of years every time we faced impossible odds. She raised her hand, then dropped it. All ships engage. Let's show them what humanity does best. The fleet surged forward. Into the swarm. Into the battle. Into history, and the galaxy held its breath.